Okay. Hello everyone, and welcome to our webinar. It is so lovely to see all of you, and also like very happy to know that we've been able to put this together, which I wouldn't be able to do without the amazing team in here. Okay, I'm gonna. All right. Let me just sort the technical part first. I have my Zoom on you, Dialor, for some reason.
Is it still the case? I think you just need to click on the
You.
main screen, probably just to change it. Yeah.
Okay. You are the star of our show, and we are liking it. Okay, I'm gonna start first, and then while you guys are introducing yourself, I'll sort that one out. So thank you everyone for joining. It is such a pleasure to have all of you, and I'm quite actually happy to see that. Wow, we have 45 people in here. So thank you very much for making the time. The webinar today is to talk about the Chevening Scholarship, and when we talk about Chevening Scholarship, the overall aim of this webinar is really for you to get to know more about Chevening. I know that some of you following me maybe on socials and the other alumni, you've seen us post about the scholarship, and while some may know and have already decided to apply, maybe there are others who are still wondering, what is this Chevening Scholarship? So we hope that by the end of this webinar, we'll be able to provide with uh, more informations and detail, but also just give some tips and overall inspire you to want to apply and decide also, because it's a matter of whether or not you're even like this is the right scholarship for you. So hopefully we'll have all those answers, all those questions answered by the end of this webinar. It's a pleasure. So my name is Mam. I'm gonna start with the quick introduction. So my full name is Mam Kodunjai, but feel free to call me Mam. I'm from Senegal and currently live in Dakar. So I was a 2021 Chevening Scholar, and I studied an MA in International Education and Development at the University of Sussex in Brighton, which is the best university. And I know those, like, I know Abdourahmane, Jalor, and Abdou Aziz are going to be like, nope, but I'm telling you the
No.
truth, guys. we are number one in the world for development studies, and I know they're tired of hearing us say that, but yeah. So that's it about me. I'm gonna now pass it over to my friends, and thank you guys so much for making time to uh, join us in this webinar. So I truly appreciate you, and I appreciate your time. We're gonna start over, and I'm just gonna pass it over to Abdou Aziz. If you can introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you so much, Mom. But I'm gonna be African for this one. I'll give the floor to my elder Jalor before.
Come on, no need to do that. But thanks for the for following the tradition, as I would say. So I'm Dialor Thiam. I'm 2018 Shivna. So the 2018 cohort. I went to Aberdeen in Scotland to study an MBA in energy management. So I also work at the British Embassy in Senegal as Regional Director Francophone for the Department for Business and Trade, the UK Department for Business and Trade. Yeah, I'll stop there. Abdulaziz.
Over to you, Abdourahmane.
All right, so just respect the African tradition. So, hi everyone, so happy to be there. Thank you, Mom, for organizing such kind of event. It's really important, and I hope that we will have a very fruitful discussion. So
More
I'm
in-
Abdourahmane Diop. Um, I did my Chevening program at the University of Reading in 2023, 24, studying an MSc in agricultural economics. I'm currently working as a consultant for the Ministry of Economic Planning and Corporation as a valuation specialist. So happy to be there. So over to you, Aziz.
Yeah, I'm the youngest. That's normal. So yeah, thank you so much, Mom, for hosting this, and thank you, Abdurrahman and Jaro, for being here as well. So it all aligns with what we signed off. I think when we signed the contract for Chevening, we said that we would give back to the community, and giving back to the community would start first by helping others to benefit from this opportunity we had, which is the Chevening Scholarship. So yeah, my name is Abdou Aziz Khan. I'm a medical doctor and a public health specialist. So I recently graduated from from the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine with a master's in international public health, a focus on outbreak control and health protection, as well as applied statistics for health research. And that is thanks to the Chevening Scholarship. Yeah. And currently, I work as a clinical studies manager at the Pasteur Institute of Dakar in a platform called Diop, where they manufacture in vitro devices, rapid diagnostic tests for disease surveillance and pandemic preparedness, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Thank you so much. That's all for me.
Thank you very
Diatropics
much.
funded by the UK.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Those were great introductions. And also like great profiles, really inspiring for everybody. Anyone wondering what I'm doing now, because I did say where I studied, but didn't talk about my profession. I also am like a youth engagement and gender specialist, but currently working as an international consultant with GIZAU. So yeah, lovely. It is starting very well. Now, before we get the conversation started, I would like for our participants, if you just can write in the chat, so you can say hi from where you're watching us from, so that we can have an idea of who's here. Maybe I'm wondering if this is just like a Senegalese audience or if we have more of an African or global audience. So I'm quite curious to know where you guys are watching us from. Now, without further ado, we're gonna get started. We talk a lot about chevening, but do we know what chevening is? I think some of us are still maybe they might know that it's a UK scholarship, but what is it basically? So I'm gonna pass it over to our dear Dialor to tell us what chevening is.
Thanks very much, Ma'am, for the opportunity to do this and organizing the webinar. And it's a pleasure to be here and giving back to potential future Shivners, which I was a couple of years ago. So I was helped by a friend actually to go through the Chevening process, an application process, and etc. So you always need someone to actually tell you about the scholarship and tell you about how to ace it. So this is a great opportunity. So Chevening is the foreign and so it's a UK government scholarship. So funded partially by the FCDO. So the foreign I'm losing I'm losing the so I need to go back to it. So it's the Foreign Commonwealth Development Office. Because usually it was the Foreign Development Office or the Foreign Commonwealth Office, FCO, and then they added the Development Board, which became confusing. So fully funded means that actually you don't have to pay anything when you receive a Chevening scholarship when you're a scholar. The UK government is paying for everything. which means paying for your flight, paying for your accommodation, paying for your tuition fees, and giving you a stipend, a monthly stipend to live. Depending on where you are, the stipend varies. So that is one of the best scholarship in the world. You don't need actually to pay anything, and which is quite unusual because usually scholarships will pay for your tuition fees and not pay for your accommodation, not for your flights and etc. So this is fully funded. So once you get it, you are fully covered. This means that it's also very competitive. I think across the world, we have now 50,000 Chevening scholars, Chevening alumni, which is quite a big number. And in Senegal, we're around 200, I think, alumni. So that is maybe like to sum up what the scholarship is. Uh, Really competitive, but also very good scholarship. Once you get it, you can do masters, so 1 year masters in the UK. So if you compare to the US, usually when you do your masters is 2 years. So in the UK, when you're a professional, you can actually do a 1 year masters and come back to your country. One of the most important elements of Chevening is actually coming back to your country after getting the scholarship and doing your masters in the UK to give back to your community and do what you've said you'll be doing in your different essays. I'll stop there. Maybe, mom, others, you want to add something?
Yes, thank you very much, Cheryl, for those information. Like when you were explaining, it just made me think, who can be a Chevening alumni, like a Chevening scholar? Can I, or can somebody from Senegal, Mali, like who can be, or also like, do they have an age different? Do I need to only do education, etc.?
Yeah, that's a very important question. Actually, tuning is for professionals, so it's for people that have at least 2 years work experience. But that work experience can be very flexible. It can be internships. It can be, let's say, also work you've done, but not um, I would say in one company and in one continuous manner. Actually, if you've done experience in X company, X university, X etc., you can actually sum up everything. And if you have 2 years experience, you can then apply for Chevening. The Chevening scholarship is for everyone basically, except UK citizens and some countries that are excluded from Chevening, and you can find them in Chevening website. So there is no age limit as well, so you can apply even if you're in your 60s. And we have very old Cheveners that are president in their countries or MPs and etc. So no, there is no age limit.
That's a very good point. And I just wanted to also like highlight this big change they have made this year about the 2 year work experience. In the past, you could like you would see somebody who just graduated have a Chevening scholarship because when they were studying, they were doing internship, freelancing, etc. But starting this year, they said that only 2 years acquired after graduation count as work experience. I know that for some people, like they were quite sad to hear that news, but unfortunately, that was like a change that was made this year, and that is also like good to be highlighted. So yeah, thank you for that, Abdourahmane and Abdulaziz. Are we missing anything for that first part of what Chevening is that we needed to highlight?
Yeah, I do think that it's all correct for now.
Okay,
Yeah,
then
very complete. Yeah.
amazing. Well, let us continue with you, Abdurrahman, then for our second question. And the second question would like to ask you is, can you tell us more about the application process? How is the application process like?
First of all, very stressing. I think there's a lot of stress going through the application because it's something that lasts like many months. So you are waiting for the results. So this part is very stressing. Of course, getting the good news that you are selected is like very amazing. So congratulations for those that will have the chance to secure a Chevening scholarship. I think the process begins by deciding that you may be going back to school to pursue your studies. So it's really important also when you reflect on your career to know, okay, this time maybe I need to improve my level on a specific subject. So and to choose a university to go to pursue. But then after creating your application account, then there's a lot of information that is required, like personal details, but also putting also your work experience. And as Dialor was also saying, you need to check about the eligibility criteria, like the 2 years full time, and it's very important. I didn't know that they have made some updates about the work experience. So you have to provide also all the information about your work experience, about also your education. And the most important part is also choosing also your universities, because you need to choose at least 3 universities across the UK based on your experience, but also what you really need to do. I think the question regarding the choice of university, we'll have the chance to go further on that question. So I'll not really focus on that. And then also, so after that, checking the eligibility criteria, like putting all the details regarding the work experience, the universities. And then there is like this waiting time that you'll wait if you got the chance to be selected for the interview. It's not the end of the process, because like there is another stage of the application where some people will be pre-selected to get the chance to be interviewed by a panel. So basically, most of the time you will get maybe 3 or 3 person from the embassy, but also from the FCDO maybe that will interview you. And it's basically like the same, around the same question that you fill it for your essays, like the 4 essays that about leadership, networking, the choice of the universities, but also the career plan. So, and then after this interview, the one that get the chance to be finally selected will be informed. So it's like a very long process. I think after the process finish in November, I think, or October. So you'll have to wait until I think around March to get the email for the interview, and then after wait up to June, around June, to get the final email that will inform you about being selected as a Chevening scholar. So what I want to add more is also, yeah, I got many questions about the English level. So in order to be accepted to universities, if you are coming from like countries like us, like Francophone countries, of course, you need to prove that you have an English level that will allow you to follow like course in UK universities. So it depends on the universities, because some universities will accept IELTS as a test for the English. Others will accept the TOEFL. For my case, my university fortunately accepted the Duolingo, I think, which is more simple than the TOEFL. Yeah, so I get this chance. So you get the chance to get universities that will accept some tests which are more simple. So it was my case. So yeah, you definitely need to get the English test and to have the required score. The score also will depend on the universities. Some will ask about 7.5 in terms of IELTS. Others will ask about 6.5. So it depends really on the university. So you need to take your time to really choose your universities based on different details. I will not come back to these things, because I know that in the discussion, we'll discuss more about the choice of universities. And then, yeah, and the other process is just like making ready to go to the UK to spend 1 year with a very um, the weather, which is a climate that is changing like every time, every hour. You have different weather, so be ready for that. Yeah, and be ready also to enjoy the overall Chevening program. So yeah, I don't know if I maybe missed some details, but yeah, other speakers can also complete this part.
No, that was very clear and very helpful in terms of the process. So thank you. We used to joke during our Chevening year that Chevening should be awarding us with 2 degrees. The one that is like for applying for an entire year, and then another year of studying, because really it is like an entire year of application. So you need to be quite patient. With them, and also, yeah, really get used to the weather. As they say, you can have the 4 seasons in one day. So Abdurrahman did talk about the timeline. I was just checking briefly the website this morning, and I saw they had like these few dates of application period happening now from August 5th all the way to October 7th. So if you did not know it, you have until October 7th to apply. And then from October 7 all the way to January is really when they do their shortlisting, reading your application to see who will go into the next stage or not. And then they said mid-February all the way to March or April is when the interview will happen. And then from June, you start receiving the good news of whether if you're chosen for Chevening, the good news are going to be there in June. And July is like the last deadline for you to have an admission, have the English requirement, and September, August. Well, September, October is when you're going to be starting. I think some as early as August, but yeah. So thank you very much. Unless we have something that was missing in that question that Jalor and Abdulaziz want to add, I'm gonna go ahead and now ask Abdulaziz. We've been talking a lot about Chevening, but I'm just wondering for some of us here, like mainly the Francophone community who do not maybe know a lot about Chevening, or let's say the UK was not really their destination. It has never been a country they looked, up to, or like they wanted to go to. Can you tell us why someone should apply for Chevening, and what make this Chevening scholarship unique compared to other scholarships?
Thank you so much, Mom, for this question. That's
Um,
really relevant,
Can you,
actually.
sorry,
Um,
I just want to say before you start, for everybody
yeah.
joining us, if you have any question, please don't forget to drop them in the chat and we'll be answering them as we go. Our dear Jalor just gave you this hint that he sit in the tuning panels, and he also work at the British Embassy. So you might as well start, writing your questions in the chat and firing them to all of our panelists here. Over to you, Abdulaziz.
All right, thank you so much, Mom, and thank you so much, Abdourahmane and Jallo, for your interventions as well. So I just wanted to add a few things about the application process, because like some people might think that winning the scholarship means necessarily like winning an admission to a university, which is not like true all the time. Sometimes you can win a scholarship, you can win the Chevening scholarship, but not get not get an admission from a university. So that way you won't join the UK, unfortunately. So you need to make sure about your choices about the university admission and program you want to pursue as well. So you really need to dig deep into that, like do your researches and everything about your university and the program you want to study in the UK as well,
Um,
and also
sorry,
see if you.
sorry, Mr. Khan. So sorry to, like, somebody just said in the chat, Mr. Khan, can you speak slowly, please? It's too fast.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'm very sorry about that. Like my immersion was so full, so I speak like them currently. So yeah. So yeah, I was saying that winning the scholarship doesn't necessarily entail winning also an admission to a university. So you need to apply for a university and also really look into the program you want to apply for, and do your researches and make sure you fulfill the requirements of the university as well. Because if you don't have an unconditional offer from a university, you won't be able to benefit from from the scholarship as well. So answering to your question, ma'am, why should someone apply for a Chilean scholarship? I think as Jalo said it, it's a fully funded scholarship. So which means that you don't pay for anything. Everything is covered: your flight tickets, your tuition fees, your living expenses as well. For example, in my case, I think the tuition fees for my university were like £23,000, which is approximately 20 million CFA, like West African franc. That's a lot of money. That really costs an arm and a leg. So Chevening will pay for you for that. So just for that opportunity to go and pursue your dream, pursue your master's degree in a renowned university, because like UK is home to the best universities in the world. It is reputed to be that to be so. So it's really something someone might consider too. So yeah, like I said, also you will study in world-class universities as well. For example, I went to the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine, and the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine is known as the very first institution in the world being dedicated to tropical medicine. So I was lucky enough to get an admission from that university, and lucky enough to get the Chevening scholarship, which paid for all my tuition fees while being in the UK. So talking about finances as well, I want to give an example. For example, I lived with people from different background, but some came on their own, so they were like self-funded. And I can tell you, being an international student in the UK, self-funded, that's really, really stressful. I know of people who would wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning, go to their shift from 4 a.m. in the morning till 8 a.m. in the morning, come back to the flat, shower, and get ready for their lectures. That's really, that's like, I mean, that way, that's really like hectic. For example, Chevening will cover for all of that, and then you will only be focused on your studies, on your masters, and aim to like get higher scores and like benefit from the learning environment you will be in. So moving to the next point, I think Chevening is not just a scholarship, it's just like a global leadership network as well. You will be part of an international network, very dynamic with different profile and highly like, how can I say it, like people who have like a high influence in their sectors as well. So for example, when I was in the UK, I met people from like from the Philippines, from Malawi, South Sudan, Sudan, and those were like people who had 10 years of experience in WHO, in Médecins Sans Frontières. Just being in those kind of environment will help you level up your game, because as they said, sometimes when you are a leader or when you aspire to be a leader, you need to surround yourself with compounders, like people who compound knowledge with high level discussion and also thought-provoking discussion as well. So Chevening will give you that opportunity to be in an international network with people with very strong profiles as well. So career advancement, next point, because like it definitely looks great on a CV as well. Yeah, being a Chevening scholar, that means that you were chosen among or like from a pool of thousands of applicants around the world. So that gives an idea to the recruiters or like to your colleagues as well, that you are someone who is very sharp as a tech as well, and very like organized, and someone who has a very strong background. So I think the next point is, for example, cultural growth, because when you are in those kind of environments as well, you get to mingle with people from different background, from different horizons, different culture, um, different ethnicity and everything. So Chevening teaches you how to be very tolerant and how to accept yourself, but also accept like others as well. Because as you said, the world is very diverse, and someone vices can be your virtues, and your virtues can also be someone vices. So in that kind of environment, you need to be very tolerant with people and act and focus on what puts us together rather than what set us apart. So yeah, I think these are the main points that I had to share about why you should apply for a Chevening scholarship.
Thank you very much. You have just given me the desire to apply all over again. That was brilliant, and you're right. It is more than a degree. It really is about showing that these are the current and next leaders, and like the number of people that applied this year alone. I was just looking at the applicant, and it's about like hundreds of thousands of applicants. So like each year they select about 1%, 2, 3%, and I think being part of that network is already showing your potential. So I definitely agree when you said it does look good in a CV. But also like looking at the community of Chevening alumni, we've had people who are now like presidents in their countries, directors, and you've also heard like this 0.000% introduction from our panelists here because they have amazing profile, but you can just tell the number of like the quality of that Chevening community. So you would want to be part of that network for sure. So thank you very much for that. Moving on to the next question. Now we've been talking about Chevening in general as like that was like the first part of our presentation. Now I want the second one to be more on like our personal experiences. Um, and there are maybe a few questions that you guys can just quickly answer that I'm seeing in the chat before we move to that second part, which is I've seen some people ask about the English test, for instance. Someone is saying they have a bachelor and a master's degree in English. Should they still go for an English test? And someone is asking if TOEFL is the one needed. So it sounds like many people only know about TOEFL, so they're wondering if that is the test that is going to be needed. And some people are asking about topic specifics, something like, can I go do law, for instance? So is it more also like that bring to the question about what are the programs and the degrees that are being accepted or not by Chevening? So if we can, the two of you can answer those questions before we move to the second part of this discussion. Who want to go first?
Yeah, I think, oh yeah, sorry, Abdul. You can
No,
go ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the Chevening Scholarship is open to all fields. Like whatever masters you want to go and pursue, you can apply for it. And if you fulfill the requirement of the university, you can be accepted and then apply for a Chevening Scholarship. And if you got the scholarship, you can go and be covered as well. And also you have a flexibility in university choices as well. You can choose like the university you want. Like there is no restriction about the university. As long as you fulfill the requirements, you can apply for the universities as well. So regarding the English requirements as well, I think there is TOEFL and also IELTS, because I did IELTS when I was applying for the Chevening Scholarship. And it depends on the universities, because like some universities may ask for TOEFL, some others may ask for IELTS, and Abdourahmane got an admission with Duolingo as well. So perhaps you can look into his university as well. And yeah, I think also some English speaking countries, sometimes they are asked to do the IELTS test, because like I had few friends from Malawi and South Sudan, for example, they were asked to do like to sit for an exam to prove their like English capacities as well. So it depends. You need to go to the website of the university and also try to look into the requirements and everything that is asked for you to get an admission from the university.
And just about the English test there, at least for the universities I know, and I believe it's for all universities. So when you go to their website, they have the list of countries who are exempt from doing an English test. Like if you have your degree from those universities, and for a certain period of time. Let's say you have your master's or your bachelor from the UK itself, and it was, if it is the University of Sussex, if you had your master's in the US or in the UK for less than 5 years ago, you don't have to do an English test. Or if you graduated from some countries, they have a list, but then if your country of graduation is not part of that list, even if you're from an English speaking country, you definitely need an English test. Abdourahmane, over to you.
I think you provided all the details about the English test. So, and as you were saying also, I think in each university's website, you can find all the information regarding the English requirement, the kind of test that is accepted, but also the time frame, because, for example, for the TOEFL, you need to do it in the between like 2 years before in a range of 2 years. So you need to make sure also about the time frame that is accepted for the TOEFL. But yeah, it really depends on the university. So you really need to take your time to check on the English test requirement. So yeah.
Great. Did we have all those questions covered? Then we can move to this. Are we missing
Yeah,
one more?
yeah, I'm just seeing one question here. Hi, I'm from Senegal. My question is for Dr. Aziz Khan. For doctors who recently graduated, what type of work experience should we try to get in order to maximize our chances of being selected?
Can
Oh,
we,
yeah.
can you note that question for like the Q&A session? Because I'm just taking the time. Maybe you can note that for the Q&A. Amazing. All right. So I'm gonna move to the second part, which is now about experience sharing, and I'm gonna ask this question to all of you. So my question is, can you share your experiences with us? We are curious to know how it was to be chosen for Chevening. And I'm sure it started from even the why you went for Chevening, to how it was, to now how has that impacted your current personal and professional life. So yeah, we the public want to know. I'm gonna start with Dialor.
Yeah, thanks very much. Sorry. Key button. Can you hear me? Yeah, so I just switched it on my smartphone because like the connection wasn't good. So actually, the first question I think to answer is why Chevening and why did I decide to apply, especially after spending 10 years in the banking industry in Senegal. Uh, like getting a decent salary. So even my entourage was quite surprised that I decided to do a new master's. But I saw it as an opportunity to actually grow, to learn something new, and also to spend a year in an English-speaking country. So that was enough for me to decide to do Chevening, and also it was fully funded. Uh, you don't get that opportunity often to get your studies fully funded, even your living expenses, and discover new culture, have the opportunity to travel, to meet people that are very experienced and that can share that with you. So for me, it was like a no-brainer. Getting the scholarship was obviously I mean, a very good news for me because I was in my 10th years in the banking industry, and I wanted some change. So I decided to do that year break. So it was a huge sacrifice because I had to basically find some, I would say, money for my family for a year because when I was leaving, I was like married and with my family, so I had to do that to make sure that nothing would change when I travel, which is quite a sacrifice actually. And then the experience in the UK, so getting the scholarship, like getting the announcement, the excitement of being accepted by the university, getting the final award letter, and then the pre-departure event. All that is actually very, very good when you're here. But the best part is going to the UK and studying there. Uh, so UK universities are very good, very multicultural. So you meet people that come from a different background that can share their experience with you. And it's not necessarily the academic experience, but also the personal experience that they are sharing with you. Then you start traveling across the UK. You discover regions. You discover different accents. You also realize that there is more written in English than in French, and you start reading a lot in English because the content is so diverse, and you discover so many new things. Then the best part for me in Scotland was to discover the Highlands, the Scottish Highlands, and travel there, do a road trip with Mexican friends, Serbian friends, Indonesian friends, and discover the Highlands. So there is a 500 miles road trip that you do in the west coast of Scotland, and we did that. We were spending the night in the Highlands in very small hotels. It was really cold for a West African, but I did survive it. I'm here to tell you that story. So overall, great experience, and you come back and it totally changes your trajectory. Basically, the kind of interviews you were getting before getting your Chevening scholarship are definitely not the same when you come back. Your seniority changes, but you also have to be really humble when you come back. It's not necessary that you will get straight like the dream, your dream job. So you have to prove yourself again. Go through application processes, use your network, as Chevening will teach you, to get and land the job you want. But you will definitely have opportunities, better opportunities than before doing the Chevening scholarship. I'll stop there. Thanks.
Thank you very much. We'll pass it over to Abdourahmane now.
Yeah, thank you for this question. I think Dialor put it very well. Amazing experience. I think for my case, it's very similar to Dialor also because when I was applying for the Chevening scholarship, like I had around 8 years of experience, and I really wanted to change on the topics I was working on. So because I was just coming from private sector, and then I wanted to go more into the consulting activities. And yeah, based on the because I think the overall Chevening application process is about like reflecting on your past, but also imagining also what's the future hold. So it's really important to kind of assess yourself to identify what kind of skills that you need in order to reach your goals, both in the professional but also personal side. So it was really important at the time to know that there are skills that I needed. And definitely the UK universities were like the place I needed to go to get these kind of skills, but also to get this network. And one thing that is very important is like the Chevening itself is like a kind of brand. So when you have this scholarship, it means that it comes with the advantages of this brand, like you get more credibility, you get recognized for being a Chevening scholar because it means that you were able to survive in a kind of very demanding environment because as Dialor said, like in comparison with other universities in the world, so you can do like your master in the UK for 1 year. That means it's very intense, it's very tough as a program. So you get busy, very busy for the 1 year. And I think also one thing that is really important and that will make you have this decision of applying to the Chevening is also the networking. which is a very important part. So you get with the Chevening the opportunity to be to join like more than 50,000, a network of 50,000 people around the world, which with like leaders from all around the world, because among the Chevening scholars, you get like president, you get ministries, so people that are very like amazing people around the world. But also, if you get the chance also to get an additional sponsor, which was my case, because my scholarship was funded by the Chevening, of course, but also by my university, and also by the Mansion House Scholarship Scam, which was also one of my sponsors. So sometimes you get the chance also, beside the Chevening and your university, you get the chance to get also an additional sponsor, which was also very amazing, because actually I was like the first Senegalese scholar to get the Mansion House Scholarship Scam, which came with many networking opportunities, including many reception I went to. So it is like an initiative that is launched by the Lord Mayor of the City of London. So we went to many reception. We met like many important people, and you also get the chance to get an honorary member for the Worshipful Company of International Bankers, which include like a network with all the banks and insurance companies in the UK. So I also even get the chance to visit Lloyd's Insurance Bank, the headquarters. So meeting like with very amazing people from all around the world. And you get also the chance to get a mentor if you are also a Mansion House scholarship scholar. So these are like a very amazing program. And I think I don't need to come back about the quality of the program. Because like you have very small class, like we were only, I think, 8 in our class. So meaning like you have clear focus, like you can interact with lecturers as you want. You get like this closeness with the lecturers, which is very amazing. And you get also world-class lecturer to be clear, like you have like very good lecturers that will allow you to really improve your skills on specific topic. And I think what I love most is also the fact that you like you go outside even your specific field, because like you can walk about. I was talking, I think I remember one day with Aziz, saying him that in one of my assignment I was talking about something related to health. So I think it's very interesting the fact that you can go further to your specific field, which also help you in diversifying your skills, so which is very important. And when you come back from the Chevening, I think it's still like it shape also the way you reflect, because there is something that is really important in the Chevening program, like the critical thinking. I think we struggled a lot in the beginning. Of course, you struggle a lot before getting the critical skills, and also writing essays, writing assignment. So you have like a lot of assignment to write. So it really like help you in shaping your writing skills, but also your reflective skills, but also your critical thinking skills. So it's, yeah, overall it was like a very amazing program that really impacted my life, both in a professional way, but also personal way. Yeah, and also the amazing network, because as Dialor said, like you have the chance to interact with people from all around the world, like from countries that you never imagine that you will meet someone from that country. You never imagine that even that country maybe existed even. So because like, yeah, that's a very, it's like literally having an open window to the world. So yeah, having the chance to go to UK universities. Yeah.
Yeah, let me just put that very well for you. You become a citizen of the world. For sure, yeah.
Absolutely. My roommates were from Pakistan, Myanmar, and Madagascar. So it was like, wow, it was just amazing to sit down with these people from all over the world and get to, have a conversation and hear people from different perspective. So yeah, I agree. But last but certainly not least, on experience sharing, we'll hear from our medical doctor. Aziz.
Yeah, thank you for the question. I think, yeah, my experience was very unique, unmatched, unparalleled, extraordinary, if I can say so. Yeah, and Chevening is something that I would recommend like 100% because like Jalor and also Abdourahmane said it, you get the chance to meet people from all over the world first and foremost, but like people with very strong profiles as well. And during my time in the UK as a Chevening scholar, so doing my master's in the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine, I also had the chance to travel to Geneva, for example. That was thanks to the Chevening Scholarship Program. So I visited all the headquarters of those UN services like the WHO, UNICEF, International Federation of Red Cross, the Global Fund, and I also met people over there and also networked with them. So if it wasn't thanks to the Chevening Scholarship, I wouldn't be able to pursue my master's degree and also go to Geneva while pursuing my master's degree in public health and get the chance to visit those UN services. So that's one thing. And I think you asked a question about why we applied for Chevening. Uh, so yeah, I think I didn't know about the Chevening Scholarship before. So I was introduced to the Chevening Scholarship by Dr. Magid Nyang. I think he went to the UK in the same cohort as Jalor. So how I met Dr. Nya was, yeah, when I was a medical student, I was aware of the fact that we needed to improve our English level because you do need it when you are in science and when you are an aspiring researcher as well. So with friends and also some elders, we initiated the School of Medicine of English Club. And then that's where I met Dr. Magidnya, who told me about the Chevening Scholarship. So ever since then, I mean, I found it very interesting. I was like, yo, I need to apply for this scholarship because it's really interesting, but I need to find my why. So that why came from a compilation of a lot of bad experiences when I was still practicing medicine. For example, there was that day when I was doing my training in gynecology, for example, and I received that woman pregnant with twins. And she came and she was undergoing what we call like eclampsia. It's a third-time complication for medical students attending this webinar. So that's a complication in a emergency like a life-threatening emergency as well. And we needed what we call magnesium sulfate to save the life of the mother and also the baby, and also proceed to the rapid extraction of the baby. So while I was in the triage room, we did not have like magnesium sulfate. The theater was closed because we were running out of oxygen, and the ambulance was not there. But that situation was like quite normal to my other colleagues, and I was like, I sat there and I started like musing over that situation, and I was like, oh, this could be my mother, this could be my wife, this could be like my sister. So I need to change this. I was like, no, this has to change. I mean, it's very fancy to be the best gynecologist in town, but what if I have to face this like each and every day in my practice? This has to change. So I need to equip myself with sufficient skills. So when I found my why, my driver, when I reflected like in depth in it, so I was like, yo, the Chevening Scholarship would be the best program for me because like I said, it's a unique opportunity and a life-changing opportunity as well.
I love that. Thank you very much for sharing. One thing I love about this experience sharing part of the discussion is that it really shows one thing is that find your why. And it's extremely important. The reason why this is important is that if you know your why, then you can tell your story. You can tell Chevening why you're the right candidate for this program because you're connecting it already to your future self. You're connecting it to your career plan. You're connecting it to what they're saying is like they're looking for the leaders who can make a difference in their society. So you're telling them, if you put this lot of pounds in me and you train me, this is what I'm gonna go ahead and do with that program, with the skills that you have just taught me. So, and if you're able to tell that story, if your story makes sense because you know your why, the person reading your essays will know, will it will just make sense. Which is very different from somebody who, yeah, I just want to go to the UK sort of thing. But you haven't, like, Chevening kind of pushes you to sit down with yourself and reflect. Okay, what is it that I want to do? I remember when I first came across Chevening, I was working with the Peace Corps. And back then, one of my friends shared the link and was like, hey, I think this is like, you would be the best candidate for this. Without checking the link, my initial reaction was, nah, I'm at a stage where I just want to make money. Let me just work and make money. And then he was like, just check this link, please. And I was like, okay. So when I checked the program, I was like, wow. And then imposter syndrome came. I initially thought, I don't think I can do this. Like natural imposter syndrome. But then later on, I think maybe I had those initial reaction because I was not ready yet. So then, as I was working in that in Peace Corps, something just happened. Like, I get to know this word of development, and I was part of the people training the American volunteers. So we train them so that they can go in our communities and make a difference. But for some reason, I found myself thinking, instead of me training foreigners to help my country, how can I be more involved? Like, how can I be the one who's helping? I literally went to my supervisor and I said, do you think I'm making a difference in my in this work? And he was like, what do you mean? I said, well, I'm training them and they're the one doing the direct development part, but how can I be the one doing the development part? He was like, well, if you don't like, you're the one equipping them with the language and culturally appropriate skill to go to the work, so of course you're contributing. And that made sense, but there was still this thing in me that just made me realize, I think I need to do more. So as that question was in me, and I was already, doing education from my own association, and then Peace Corps introduced me to this whole development world. So then I said, okay, I know I need to work in something related to development, but I don't want any development. I want something related to education and development. And so I started randomly Googling, what are the masters in the UK that do education and development? And then I came across this MA in International Education and Development at the University of Sussex. And that is when I remembered Chevening that my friend sent, and that I was like, no, I just want to make money. So now I knew exactly what I needed to do. I said, okay, you know what? I think I need this Chevening's program because it's going to help me do this masters that I think going to help me now go straight into development world. So, like, it was those whole reflecting, and when I was ready, it was easy and I had the answers. And I went ahead and I told that story in my Chevening application. And here we are today. So panel, like, moderators are not supposed to be sharing stories, but you get very passionate when you are a Chevening alum. um, but my friends been telling you about the good side. I'll tell you my dramatic side. When like my day going, so I missed my connecting flight and I spent an entire day in Istanbul. Yep. So we arrived COVID time. We were in lockdown. I remember this is important because I came. You had to spend like 10 days in lockdown. So I was doing this first 10 days online, and then one of the professors, we just did like one course in theories and practice in education whatsoever. And so I went to her office hour because I had a question. But then when I joined the office hour on Zoom, she said, how are you doing? And my answer was, I am freezing. Because the reality was I was freezing. And so she said, oh no, we need to fix this. Like, and so she sent someone immediately to bring me this like electronic heater because it was like in September, and so the university heating system was still not on. And so that thing, I never forgot about it because I think it showed the availability of the professors. They went, above and beyond. Like, it's not really about, yeah, I'm just your teacher, I'm going to talk academic. For them, if you speak to them And then if you tell them about like an issue you're going through, even personally, they always like, they would find a solution. They will see how they can support you. For me, it was an electronic heater because I was freezing. But for other people, it might be something else. So it also show you even that critical thinking that Abdourahmane was talking about. I think one thing that teacher taught us was that just remember everything you know is wrong. So be open to learning, be open to new knowledges, etc. Now enough about that dramatic. There are like the good news are way beyond the dramatic part, but I think that was also like a funny story that just highlight the human side of things. Yes, Abdul Aziz, yes.
Yeah, a good point to add is that like everything you learn in the UK, in those universities, you put them like in practice. There is no like open questions or like how can I say it, like open questions like or multiple choices, MCQs. You put everything in practice. They teach you about like critical thinking. You do interventional like analysis and everything. So to the extent that after finishing your taught modules, you are like ready to go in the professional field already. So it's this very unlike here where professors will give you a lot of MCQ questions or like open questions just to repeat or like pour out what you know by heart. There you just have to be like very how can I say it, like very sharp in your analysis and everything. Yeah.
Great. We're gonna stay with you, Abdulaziz, and I'm gonna now move to the third part of this discussion. Now we are gonna talk more about essays, and I think I've seen so many people ask about essay questions in the chat, so I'm excited about this part. So my first question for you is, like, what are the key things that you think applicant must include in their leadership essays, and overall, just your advice for writing a great leadership essay? And before you answer, I'm just going to say for those who haven't had a chance to go through the website and the essay part yet, so for the Chevening application, you need to write 4 essays. One is on leadership, another one on networking, and then you have one on why the UK, and the last one is on career plan. So we're going to go ahead with you, Abdulaziz, to tell us more about the leadership essay.
Um, I think first thing first would be to demonstrate like leadership, not just like achievements, because Chevening is looking for future leaders, not just high performers. Because there is indeed the difference between a leader and a high performer, because like a leader is someone who influences, like inspires and also mobilizes like all the logistics to motivate people to solve a problem. So you need to demonstrate your abilities to identify a problem, to assess the magnitude of that problem, and also to put actions in place to mitigate the consequences or to solve the problem. And also while putting those actions, because like not every actions you put together, you put in place will work. You will face like challenges as well. So you need to, for example, highlight the challenges you faced while putting those action in place, and tell in your achievement as in your leadership essay how you overcame those challenges as well. And we do need like quantifiable achieving. They love quantifiable outcomes. For example, if you do like the situation, task, action, results, the results like should be quantifiable. You need to give numbers or percentages. That's what they like. Also, it's also important to show your growth. Like, for example, some might be born leaders, but some might like develop those skills. So you need to highlight that journey, how you worked like towards being a leader, or like how you work towards being the leader you are today, because like the leader you are today is very different from the one you were yesterday. So it's very important to highlight that uh, how can I say it, like the journey, if I can say so. But also you need to link your leadership with your future goals and how they align with your background, because Chevening likes that as well. If they give you the Chevening scholarship, and after going to the UK and coming back and for example, like having your degree, like what are the actions you might want to put in place just to keep mitigating the consequences of problems like surrounding you in your home country or in your local community as well. So I think first thing first would be demonstrate your leadership, show your abilities to identify, to find the patterns of solutions in the middle of chaos, if I can say so. Yeah, it's the ability of finding a solution in the middle of chaos. You need to show that the actions you put in place, but also after putting those actions in place, like the quantifiable results, you need to highlight them. Don't exaggerate as well. Don't extrapolate. Just be you. Just very authentic. These are my advice for you guys.
Great. That's a great answer. Don't exaggerate, but don't be way too humble as well. As Senecas, we've been like very humble and like sell ourselves just a little bit, you
Yeah.
know.
Just to add something else, maybe you should also show how you collaborate with people, how you delegate tasks, because like you are a leader, you are not just a high performer. You're not only focused on your own results, but the results of the whole team. So you have to prove that you are a team player as well.
Yes. Just somebody added something on the chat. You can answer quickly on that. Somebody said if you can repeat the point about numbers or percentages, maybe just give an example of what that can look like in an essay. You are muted.
Sorry for that. Yeah, for example, after identifying a problem, for example, after identifying a problem as a leader, you need to put solutions in place, right? And for you to put like, you need to put actions in place, and those actions you put in place, they do have an impact, for example. So you just need to give like an illustration of that impact, for example, like how many, if you saved, I mean, if you were in an emergency room, for example, and there was an emergency and you were there as for example, the medical doctor, for example, like how did you overcome that situation, or how did you change things, and how did you change practice in the emergency room to improve how we take care of patients, for example, and the number of patients that was saved with your actions, like through your actions or stuff like that. So it's just like you identifying a problem, putting solutions in place, but also after putting those solutions in place, saying that, yo, this is the percentage I got after putting those solutions in place, or like this is the number of people I saved after putting those solutions in place. It's just like that. I don't have like a clear example right now, but just to give you an idea.
And that is great. An example can be something as easy as, say, you, for those working in education, you were helping young people in rural areas who could not support to go to school and they were dropping out. Because of your program now, you can say as an impact of that program, let's say 1,000 people have now been able to enroll in school as a result of that program. Or let's say 5% of the students who were enrolled had scored better because of that. So it's just like that. And moving on to same question, but this time addressing the networking. I'm gonna pass it over to Abdourahmane to tell us what are the key things, and also just any advice for writing the networking question.
Yeah, I think I will just um, like take from what Aziz said about leadership program, because when we talk about leadership, it's about also building something or reaching a goal, but being able to bringing people together. So it's really important to, in this part, to really show how you are being able to build something, whether it is maybe a community that you build, whether it is a project that you launched. So how you were able to really identify first the people that you need to work with, and how you were able also to bring them together to explain them about the vision of this project, and then bringing them together. And also, as is mentioned, also it's really important to not focus only on the achievement, because I've seen many people like focusing more on the achievement they have been able to reach. But it's important also to talk about the process, like how does maybe if you are launching maybe a community, how the community started, what was the objective in building this kind of community, what was also the challenges. So it's really important also to note the challenges that you face in building this kind of community. Whether it is maybe managing people, because we know that it's really challenging to manage people, to bring them together in like following a dream. If I take an example, for example, you want to build an association that train young people, for example. So maybe you identified some other young people. I think I'm taking also my case because it's so literally what I really use it in my networking essay. So it was about building an incubator for young people in the agricultural sector. So it was first like identifying people I want to work with. So identifying people that are in other field of work. So because you need also to bring like a diversity in terms of profile and in terms of background, in terms of cultural background as well. And you need also to show how you are able to work with these different kind of people, regardless of their cultural background, regardless of their maybe professional background or social background. So it's really important to put like the focus also on the diversity, because it's something that is really valued by the Chevening. Of course, when you go to the UK universities, you will also have a lot of diversity. So people coming from like different background, different cultural, personal, professional backgrounds. So it's really important also to put the focus also on the diversity. One thing also is, which is also very important, is the achievement. Like you build this community with these people, amazing people. What are the challenges also you face it in building this community? Whether it is maybe mobilizing funding for this association, and how you were able to like to valorize the different skills of the people around you in order to fix these challenges. So it's really important also to not only focus on the achievement, but to talk about the overall process, like from the launching of this project or this community to the achievement that you were able to reach. And it's also important also maybe in just a few like few sentences, you can also mention like how the Chevening also will help you in sustaining this network. Because for my case, like I think what I made the panel understand, like during my interview for the Chevening, I made them understand that without the Chevening, I will not be able to reach the goal that I want to reach. So literally, that was literally I think the things that were mentioned for the overall interview. So I had really make them understand that without the Chevening, without the network of the Chevening, without also the skills that the Chevening will offer me, I will not be able to reach. So it's like literally saying them that Chevening is the only thing that I actually need to be able to reach my goals. So yeah, so for the networking part, like I think as I was saying, like it's really important to mention the where this initiative came from, the challenges, but also what kind of people you were working in, and also mention at the end also the achievement. Yeah, I think I will stop there. Yeah.
Great, thank you very much for those insights. One thing I know that Chevening is very proud of is like this network. They keep saying we're a network of over 50,000 leaders all over the world. And I think so two things are important for them. It's leadership, it's networking. So how are you also overall going to use the network that you're gonna have access to? I think it's super important to maybe conclude by that when you talk about your journey with networking, if you can conclude maybe by saying being part of this network of this number of people, I will then be able to, networking can be collaboration. So maybe it can be something as easy as I'll be able to, if you're a medical doctor and you can collaborate with all the medical doctors in the Chevening community. If you're doing agriculture, if you're in trade, etc., how can you actually go ahead and collaborate with other chieftains who are in the same field? I think those are also like added bonus in addition to all the great tips that Abdourahmane has just shared with you. So thank you, Abdourahmane. Moving on to the two last essays on why the UK and career plan. Um, I'm gonna have Dialor tell us uh, how do you think applicant can stand out in how can they make their essays outstanding in terms of writing that essay about why the UK, but also like the one on career plans. It would be nice also if by saying that you can just share a bit of few mistakes that they should avoid. That's one thing I forgot to ask Abdourahmane and Aziz, but we can come back to that. But yeah, over to you, Jallo.
Thanks very much, Mom. Sorry, guys, for the camera angle again. I'm using my phone. The Studying in the UK essay and career plan essays, they're really important because this is basically about chevening and what you're going to do during your masters in the UK, and also why you chose the UK as a destination for your studies. So those are very important questions because the government that is giving you the scholarship wants to know why you chose the UK, and you have to be very structured in the way you actually write your essays. To stand out, you need to be specific, very specific and not generic. Uh, don't use generic, sentences like "I want to study in the UK because like it's a nice country," or "I want to study at that university because it's fun to be there." So you have to be very precise. It's like tell them what you are going to do there, which topic are you going to study, what specific skill are you going to acquire in the UK at that specific university. If you can add a very famous professor that you would like to learn from or meet, or the people in that specific city that you want to meet, and when I say people, professionals in your field that you want to meet during your time in the UK. So those are very, very important. You have to tell in your essays uh, those things and be very specific about them. Now, you have to connect it also to your story. So basically, what was your journey in Senegal? What made you realize that you needed to acquire a different set of skills? And how is that university and specific course going to help you achieve that? So let's say you want to study renewable energy in the UK, you have to select a university that is providing that course, that is well renowned, and that can help you acquire those skills. And then you tell in your essays why that university, why that specific course. You also need to show ambition and clarity, basically telling people that this is what you've noticed in your country. Uh, this is the problem that you want to tackle using that STAR technique that Abdul Aziz mentioned, to be very clear and very detailed. And then you also need to highlight your contribution. Basically, what is going to be your contribution back to your country after your master's degree in the UK? So you have to be very specific about that. I want to do this, this, and that to come back to my country and achieve this, 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 and that. So it has to be concise, but also needs to be very specific. So no generic sentences, no generic "I want to go to the UK study because the university is in London and I like the city." It's cool, you can say that, but you need to add something else. Then you need to avoid some mistakes. Like, being too vague, too cliche. That's what I was mentioning, like saying that London is nice because you want to see the London Eye, and etc. That's nice to say, but you need something more substantial. Don't copy paste. In the UK, there is something called Turnitin. So every time you submit an essay that was copied from somewhere else, you would be caught for plagiarism. So basically, they have a way of detecting that, and it's quite strict. So don't do that. If you want to use AI, be clever about it. Don't use AI like in its very generic form that will produce an essay that will not make sense. So you need to shape the essay and make sure that it's not obvious that this is generated from AI. AI is a great tool, can help you, but you have to be clever about using it. I'm not saying that it's not allowed. You can use AI to generate content now, but you have to be very good at doing it, and it has to be personalized. Uh, Also, like uh, you need to make sure that you don't talk about yourself too much, meaning that you talk about what you are going to achieve, but not necessarily like yourself as like a person, depending on the context. I mean, tell a story. Don't make it like too personal. Don't make it too about yourself. Don't make it too about too obvious that it is this what you're saying is not like a story that is coherent. If you know what I mean. I can maybe delve deeper if you have questions, but on that specific things, and also be humble, but not too much. So basically, you have to describe what you are doing in a very clear manner without overdoing it. Then I think the other thing is don't. I would say write your essays. Don't let other people do it for you, because if you're selected based on the essay you wrote and then you do the Chevening interview, people will notice that these essays are not from you, because if you wrote something, you will be able to first remember some of the things that you wrote in the essay, and you'll be able also to answer the questions that people will be asking. So also don't ignore the word count. It is really important. Stick to the word count, and make sure that within that word count you are specific and direct. I'll stop there. If you need anything else, please comment on the chat and I'll respond. I wanted Mom also to flag that there is Emma with us. Emma is leading a global, I think it's global guidance group, Emma. So that company is a UK company helping Senegalese students basically find opportunities in the UK, in UK universities, and study in the UK. And they've been doing an amazing work in Senegal, organizing trade missions, education trade missions, and etc. So if we have a window, maybe to let her maybe tell us about what she does. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. We can invite Emma for a second, but Jarrell, can you just stay with us and tell us about the career plan before we go? Could
Yeah, you're
you
right.
speak briefly about the career plan?
Yeah, on that, maybe to say just a little bit more about the career plan is about the career plan. You have to be also, as I said, really specific and say exactly what you are going to do when back in your in your country. So if you want to study renewable energy, as I said, it has to be clear that you want to come back first, because that's a requirement of the scholarship. You have to also tell people where do you want to work after completing your masters. If you want to work for private sector, public sector, so you have to uh, have a plan basically. To start with, maybe with the Ministry of Energy of your country. Then, after developing this specific project, you'd be joining private sector company for X, Y reasons. but you have to be really specific. So the career plan is one of the most important essays, because basically they'll be giving you the scholarship based on what you've stated there. If you're studying in the UK and you don't know exactly how you're going to give back, it's going to be a challenge for the jury to give you the scholarship or score you highly. So basically, they want you to link your master's degree with the skills you will acquire and how it will improve the either the work you are doing in your country or the new field that you will be joining after your Chevening scholarship. So that is really, really important, linking those two. So you cannot have, let's say, a master's degree in computer science and then say in your career plan that you want to do something in like the medical field, for example. It has to be like coherent. Maybe if you use computer science in the medical field, that will make total sense. But if you say you want to do computer science to work in a private sector company in computer science, and then in your essays you mentioned doing something in the medical field, it won't make sense, and people will spot that. So your essays have to be coherent. You need to make sure that you don't miss that. Maybe I'll stop there if others have something to add in the career plan, but linking that the studying in the UK and your career plan is probably the most important part.
I agree. Thank you very much. I think one thing at least that I like doing when doing my career plan essay was just like spread it into three parts, like talk about my first, like my short-term plan, mid-term, and then long-term, so that you know, like short-term, what are you gonna do immediately after you come back? And that can be as easy as if you know you're gonna immediately go back to your initial work. It can be go back there, share like now, but being like learn using what you've learned now from the UK has gonna help you when you go back to that. And while doing that, maybe you can also share and give back to your community. And then midterm, now if you want to say in 5 years time, what's your plan? And then for the long term, let's say in 10 years, what is like your wildest dream as a leader? So I liked to divide my essay like that when I was hang on, I feel like I have lost people or they have lost me. Am I back?
I can still hear you. I don't know if
Oh, okay. It was breaking over here. So yeah, those short, mid, and long term sound. I like doing that. And for my wider UK program, also, I think it's very important if you can do also like wider program that you have chosen in that university, but also like if you can have like a last maybe paragraph on the wider country, because they're saying wider UK, mainly you justifying your why for the program and the uni, but also for the country overall. And for that last part, it can be something as easy as, you know, like knowing that UK, like this is not just about, it's not just about education. I remember saying that as somebody who has a master's and a bachelor in English literature, I have learned a lot about Shakespeare when I was doing my literature program. And it would be nice to then now go ahead in the Shakespeare world and discover things firsthand, stuff like that. Obviously, that is like the last part after you talked about the serious wider program and why the UK. So those are also like additional tips that you can do. Now, Emma, I don't know if you're still with us. If you're here, thank you very much for joining us. We are very excited to know that you are here, and I'm also like very grateful for all the answers that I'm seeing that you're answering in the chat box. So are you able to quickly introduce yourself and maybe tell us more about the amazing work that you're doing in the country for those who are here to benefit from that?
Hi, Mummy. Yeah, thank you so much for the warm welcome. I wasn't planning to join in to speak, but I'm happy to kind of help answer any questions and support. So to everybody on the call, good evening. And the first thing that you're doing by joining today's webinar is really encouraging. Hear and get tips from others that have gone through the same steps as you. And just know that there is a lot of support out there. So my name's Emma, and I work supporting students through the admissions process. So if you ask me to review your essays, I will say an absolute no. I don't know you, and that's not what I'm here for. But if you want any advice about choosing a university and choosing a course, that's where I can come in, and that's where I have a lot of experience. So if you've previously studied linguistics and now you want to go and do computer science, is there a university that will admit you with the background that you have? How can you evidence and meet the admissions criteria? That's where I kind of can come in and be helpful. So just kind of navigating the different universities in the UK, the different English language tests that were mentioned earlier, if it's IELTS, if it's TOEFL, if it's Pearson, if it's Kaplan, if it's Duolingo, different universities are flexible in terms of what they will accept. And then also different universities will look at things like work experience differently. Let's not forget, some universities will also have an application fee when you are applying. And I don't want anybody to be discouraged because they see an application fee against a university. So you want to be aiming, for the best universities for your subject area. And I know places like Warwick, if you provide evidence of your Chevening application, then you don't need to pay the application fee. If you apply to the University of Birmingham and you reach out to me, we can make sure that you don't pay an application fee, so some of those tips and tricks that are there, we can also help you to navigate those on the admission side of things. So if anybody has any questions, I'll drop my LinkedIn profile in the chat. Feel free to connect. And I'm happy to answer any questions on, like I said, the application for admissions, not the application for the scholarship. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And yeah, everyone, don't hesitate to reach out to Emma on LinkedIn. I'm sure she's going to be very helpful, but I think this already is extremely helpful. So we are grateful that you were able to make time, but also accept to speak very last minute. So thank you very much.
Not a problem. So like Dialor mentioned, we've been organizing education fairs in Dakar, bringing UK universities to Senegal. So there are some universities that are now getting more familiar with the Senegalese institutions, Senegalese qualifications. So that's really encouraging just to see. Our next exhibition will be in November. So it will be after the deadline for this year's application. But if there's anybody on this call who's not got the work experience yet and is thinking, I'm going to apply for 2027, do keep an eye out and come through for the exhibition as part of your kind of long-term research as well. So there'll be more information on that shared closer to the time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now moving on to our last part of today's panel, we are going to now talk about references and university choices. And Dialor, can I come back to you just quickly and ask, how do you think we should, what are your advice on choosing the right university for the Chevening application? And I think that is a nice transition to Emma's presentation.
Yeah, thanks very much, Mom. I would say to choose the right university, you need to have a clear plan. So before making a choice or a list of university, you need to know exactly what you want to study, why you want to study that, and what are the set of skills that you're going to acquire. Also, the university location is important depending on where you want to live. Now, there is also something important is university ranking. But this is not like the ranking of the university itself, but the ranking of the course, which is really different. So, depending on the specific subject you want to study, one university can be very highly ranked, but very poorly ranked on your specific course. So you have to like choose accordingly. Make sure that when you're making the choice of the university and selecting the university, you're selecting the right course, and then that will make a difference. Because in the, I would say, corporate world, that matters. So people will probably select pick a candidate based on the university and the course, but more the course than the university. Yeah, depending on if you know what I mean. So if you're like a medical student and then you want to select a university, make sure that you focus on the course they're delivering and the set of skills and the ranking of that scores, the set of skills that you're going to require. So that for me is critical. Now, because you're going to study in the UK, obviously, depending where you want to be, you can have universities of like equal standing, being one being in the north and then the other one in the south. So if you want to experience something really different, I would say you can then choose to go up in the north, and then like the weather there will be a challenge. Also, your daytime will be reduced, and those all those things are very important, because if you're coming from West Africa and then you want to live in the UK and you go in Scotland, like me, I went to Aberdeen. Aberdeen is like the north of Scotland, so it's very freezing, raining every day. You have minuses almost all winter, and the summer is not great. Even though I was really lucky, because my summer in Scotland was good actually. It hit 20, 24, 25 degrees at some point, so that is important. Make sure that you can actually survive where you're going, and that you like it. So those are important. But uni choice ranking important, course ranking important. So those are the maybe the little advice I wanted to share here. Unless you have maybe more specific questions, ma'am, about the university itself. But I think that is enough. Then maybe just add also, depending on yeah, so if you're going to choose a uni in London, you need to make sure that you can actually survive there financially. So you need to have a very good financial education, and also uh, be ready to uh, like make some sacrifices when you're there. Because if you're living only out of your stipend in London, accommodation can be challenging, and especially the price of accommodation. And it's quite high in London. That's why the stipend in London is even higher than when you're not studying there. So all those things are very important, because accommodation is a challenge. You're not going just to study at university, but you're going to live in a city, in a town, depending on where you choose your university, and you have to make sure that you can actually make it work there. So those are important things.
Great. Thank you. Those are great point. And I think if you're living in London, know how to navigate the train system as well. But no, there are great opportunities in London, and I think so many achievers choose London because they're thinking that they want to be open more with like this bustling city, having access to more opportunities. So definitely, I guess at the end of the day, just know your why. Like, what type of person are you even? I feel like this university choice is also about, apart from the program, which should be for me the number one priority. Like, you don't want to just do Chevening to live in London. It's nice to live in London, but I think the program should be your number one priority. But you see people who choose London, any random university, because that is where they want to live. Is that a good thing to do? I don't think so, but well, who am I to judge them? So yeah, I think knowing the university, some people want to say, I went to this number one university in this. But as Dialor said, it might be number one in the world in education, but be very poor in ranking in terms of the degree that you're doing there. So even if it's like an Ivy League, but your degree is not really a degree that that university is very strong about. So yeah, I agree, and thank you for those tips. I'm gonna move on to Abdourahmane for my second question, which is about now choosing the right program. And I think, um, well, that is really what Jalor just answered. So I'm the one confusing myself here. So Abdurrahman, do you have anything you want to add there in terms of just choosing the right program? But maybe if you can also like speak about the references as well. Just how did you go about choosing your references?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, for the references, I think if if I'm not making a mistake, you have to provide two references. For my case, I have chosen one from the professional side, like my former supervisor, and one from the university, so one of my lecturer. So it's basically like providing the contact, but also providing them enough information about the Chevening scholarship so that they can also write a letter that will be very suitable for what Chevening is looking for and how the program is made for you. So it's literally also talking with your references in order to explain them why you are applying for the Chevening, what are the skills that you have, what kind of experience they can share with a Chevening team so that it can be very helpful for your application. So it's really important also to choose people that really know you, that really know about your capacity. So you need really to take your time to choose the best people for being your references, because they will like literally speak for you and they will add more things to your application. So really, it's really important to really choose the best people for your references. Coming back maybe for the universities, I think Jalor and you put all the details. And I think it's really important also, as you mentioned it, that it's not really maybe the ranking of the university overall that is important. It's really important also to focus on the reputation of the university in this specific field. For my case, I went to the University of Reading. So for those of you that want to go to London without having the challenges of the financial challenges, you can choose Reading, because like it's a 3-minute train it's like by 3-minute train to go to London. So it's like another university that it can choose. And I have also to mention that the environment in Reading is so amazing. So like the campus is very beautiful, one of the best you can have in the UK. A lot of green spaces. You have a lake that is also very beautiful. You have a campus. You have access to a restaurant that is subsidized. So like, yeah, that's like for people that want to study something related to agriculture, forestry, and environment, it's like the first university in the UK. So yeah, I get the chance to get accepted by this university, and it was also my first choice. Something also I want to mention is for the university choice, you have to put like three choice by also the level of preference. Like you will put maybe the first university you want to go in the first choice, and afterward, and then maybe you get the chance to get accepted by your first choice. And also, it's really important to make sense, to make it very coherent, like throughout your choices, because you can't choose maybe agricultural economics in your first choice, and then after your second choice, it's about law. So it really doesn't make sense. So it's really important also to make your coherent, like your choice between the three universities. And also there are so many factors that you need to consider, like the environment, as Dialor mentioned it, the reputation of the university, the lecturers, because like you would find maybe a specific lecturer that is specialized in a specific topic that you really want to, where you really want to improve your skills. So it's important also to take into account the lecturers. It's important also to consider also the alumni, because like there are some very famous alumni that came from that particular university. So you can kind of envision maybe what kind of leader you can become, because you have seen that, okay, maybe these people studied in the same university as me. So you can kind of be inspired by his career. So it's really important to also consider maybe the alumni that came from this particular university. Yeah, I think overall that's what I want maybe to share about the choice of university. And also it's really important to, like as we say, do your homework. Like you really need to take the time to really choose your universities, because even in the interview part, you will be asked about why you choose like these specific universities. So you need to really like bring the background about why you have chosen this particular university based on the factors I mentioned, like the reputation, the environment, the career plan, how it will contribute to your overall career plan. So yeah.
Those are amazing tips. Thank you. And I like the do your homework part, because I think every tips that you guys have been sharing here is related to really use actually doing the research and knowing what is best for you. Like we've all been talking about our universities, but like no one's gonna tell you go to this specific university, because your why is different from theirs. So ultimately it's all about you researching and knowing what is best for you based on the tips that Abdourahmane has just shared. So thank you for that. We're gonna do our last question before we move to the Q&A, and I'll hand it over to Abdou Aziz to tell us what his advice are in terms of time management. We know that when we talk about Chevening, we're talking about these professionals who are busy, don't really have time. So if you commit to apply for Chevening, which is also like very time consuming, realistically speaking, how much time do you think these people need to, I guess, invest into writing the Chevening application? Can I just sit down today because I'm extremely motivated after this webinar and write everything today and send it today? Or, well, is that not realistic?
I mean, it's possible, but I wouldn't advise it at all, because Chevening is a very serious application, and you don't have to rush your application. You don't have to rush your essays as well. Those essays will take weeks of refinement, so you need to really sit, reflecting, you brainstorm about like the leadership essay, networking essay, because like sometimes you can achieve a lot of things, but if you don't sit and brainstorm about the things you achieved and like the impact they had, you won't be able to put that like on a paper as well. So you really need to be aware of that. Don't rush your application at all, and start as early as possible. And also always find time to get someone else to proofread your applications, like your essays, because like it's very important. Sometimes you can put like things together and think that they are really nice, but someone can see something you did not mention, or like something you missed mentioning, or stuff like that. So just try to find time to ask like your friends, or like your mentors, or stuff like that. People like that, to read your essay again and again and again. Also, I would say don't wait till last minute as well, because like Mom said it, thousands of people will apply for the Chevening scholarship as well. So if you wait until last minute, the system can crash, and then you won't have the chance to get your application through. So you need to, at least a week or like 3 days before the deadline, you need to submit your essays as well. So yeah, but I don't have like a defined timeline for the essays because, like, for example, someone like me, I started writing my essays like in August, and I finished everything in because like the year I was applying, the deadline was in November, so I finished everything a week before because I was all the time reading again and again and again and again to refine my essays again and again and again because like you need your essays to stand out, and but because also Chevening is highly competitive, so you really need to captivate like your marker, if I can say so. So you really need to reflect on that like totally, right? So I would advise to take your time, start as early as possible, and also submit your essay applications like a week before or like 3 days before. Don't wait until last minute, like maybe trying to submit your essays at 8 while the deadline is noon, for example. So it won't work. The system might crash, and it will be like so unfortunate for you to work very hard like on your essays and not get the chance to submit them because you waited until last minute. Thanks.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think that's very clear. Start early, start as soon as possible, and take time to write those essays because they're the most important part. But all the other sections are important as well. So, yeah, do your homework and start early. Thank you guys very much for all these amazing tips. I think everyone joining here has now been equipped with great tools to start their application. I've been taking note in terms of questions that were being asked in the chat, and Emma has been kind enough to answer to some of those, but I'm gonna go ahead and ask. So the first question I have here is about translating your degree. Say your degree is in French. So Abdou Aziz, well, I'm gonna stay with you. Do you think you should translate your degrees if you have them in French or another language in English?
Yeah, absolutely. The whole process is in English, so everything should be in English. Unless your university like has another system, but I think that all the universities in the UK they want your transcripts and everything related to your CV and everything like your personal statement and everything in English. So you do need to translate those transcripts.
Amazing, thank you. Abdourahmane, can you help us answer this second question? Somebody said they're currently outside of, like they're Senegalese, but outside of Senegal. Can they still apply?
Not 100% sure about if they can still apply, but yeah, I believe that they can still apply even if they are not in the country. But yeah, maybe Dialor will be more able to reply to this question, maybe.
Yeah, thanks very much, Abdurrahman. Just to confirm that it's possible. So the criteria is the nationality, not the location. But you just need to make sure that if the interview is in person, you are able to join or request online interview if you're not in country. But you can definitely apply if you're not in Senegal.
Great. I'm gonna stay with you, Jalor, for the next question as well. It says, should your work be connected to the work that the UK is doing in your country, in Senegal or in another country if you're from another nationality?
Well, not necessarily, because this is about you and your career plan. So it's personal. The UK doesn't have like an agenda behind Chevening. It's your opportunity. Now, obviously, if it matches something that the UK is doing in the region or in the country or the country where you live, it's a plus because basically you can then go study something and then come back and give it back to your community and support the UK's ambition in your region, but it's not linked. So if you want to study, let's say, I don't know, you want to study uh, medical studies, the UK is doing, for example, something like vaccines in Senegal, or you want to help maybe like it's just matching ambitions, but it's not necessarily that will give you the scholarship, if you know what I mean. So you'd have to be very clear in your plan and what you want to achieve to get it. Yeah, I'll stop there. Thanks.
Yeah, agree. But I think I'll also add that like it's good for applicant to get curious about UK, the work that your UK is doing in your own country, in help, because that overall help UK. I think, correct me, Jalo, if I'm wrong. I think you guys are working to ultimately at the end of the day support Senegalese government in achieving a few things, and you as a leader, you also want to achieve a few things for your country. So let's say if you research the work that they're doing and you find that there's some connection with your interest, then communicating around that in a very nice way, in a way that makes sense for your essays, would make the people reading your essay know, first, you have done your homework, but second, you are definitely an added value also, and somebody who's worth the investment. So yeah, I'll say get
Definitely.
curious. um Abdurrahman, I'll come to you for this question. They say, somebody asked, do you need to have an admission before applying for Chevening, like a university admission?
Yeah, I think what you need to understand is like the application for the Chevening itself is different from the application for universities. But yeah, for the Chevening application, you need to mention the 3 universities that you are choosing, and that at the same time also, it's really important also to apply at the same time to the universities, because you mentioned them in your Chevening application. So you need to make sure that the university's choice that you put in your Chevening application are the same that you are going to choose. Yeah, but it's really different process because you might like meet some Chevening that secured the Chevening scholarship, but did not secure an unconditional offer from a university. So that there are some things that happen like that, because if you fail to maybe apply to the universities very early, and if you like if you did not get the chance to get an unconditional offer, so meaning like you're going to lose your Chevening scholarship, which is very sad. So the earlier you can apply for the universities, the better it is. So yeah, but it's like different process, because the universities have like maybe different requirement than the Chevening application. But yeah, if you can apply it the earlier, it's better for you. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. And there is also, I think in the Chevening website, they say you have until July of next year to have an admission. But as Abdourahmane said, I wouldn't wait till July to apply. I think it's
Yeah,
good to apply as soon as possible.
exactly. For my case, I was not a very good example because I applied it very lately for the universities. I remember I applied maybe just before the interview, which was not very good. I don't recommend anyone to do like that. So yeah, but yeah, the earlier you can do it, the better it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, that is also not a good example, but I've seen people, I've seen somebody actually apply when they were selected by Chevening. It's like they got their selection in June and then apply. I was like, that is the riskiest thing you can ever do. So yeah, I'll definitely not recommend that example too. I'll say apply
Yeah,
as
and
soon as possible.
one thing I want to add is also because universities they have like different process. So maybe you can have one university that will take maybe months before giving you, a conditional offer. So
Mhm.
yeah, you really want to make sure that you respect also the timeline of the universities. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
and
and if I could And if I
mhm.
can put it very well for you, Abdurrahman, just don't think that you are the only applicant to that university, because they receive 1,000 of applications. So yeah, and it takes time to filter, like to select, and I mean, go through the how can I say, the papers and everything, like before granting an admission.
Yeah. And also for university application, I know that sometimes they say when you have been shortlisted for the interview, and then you before the interview you obviously already had three choices in your application. But if you go to the interview phase and you want to change one of those universities you put there, you have a choice to make that change during the interview phase. But just know that Jalor and team would ask you why the change, and you still need to defend the change that you're making. So be able to also like defend in case you're changing your university that time. I'm gonna there is this question. I'm going to stay with you, Abdulaziz. So somebody also said concerning the part where they ask us to commit to return back to work for our country for at least 2 years after the scholarship, how can we guarantee that? Like, how much do we need to highlight this in the essays? Or anybody else that can take that question?
Yeah, I think either way, it's something you're gonna sign for because before after you are granted like the scholarship, you will have to sign a contract, right? So saying that you will come back to your country like forcibly after completing your master's degree and contribute to the development of your country for at least 2 years. So you really need to mention that because for example, when I was writing my essays, like the last paragraph would say something like, upon my return, I will do this, this, and this, and this, and that. So Chevening needs that as well to be able to grant you the scholarship as well, because like they need to make sure that you will come back to your country because yeah, let's say it like some scholars would try to find ways to stay in the UK, which is not good practice and not even good for your reputation as well, because um, that's an opportunity and it can also prevent you from getting other opportunities from the embassy, or it's not that does not look good on you and on your CV as well and on your reputation as well. It's very bad because you signed for something, you need to abide by the things you signed for. So you really need to highlight that in what I did was to highlight that in the last sections of my essays, like even that was like the essay on networking or like career plan study in the UK, I would always take time to mention that upon my return, I will do this and this and that. Chevening will help me in this and this and this and that every time. So I would advise you to do so as well. And also don't make plans in the UK, like trying to stay in the UK, come back and contribute to the development of your country, because that's why you said that you were a leader, and that's why you said that that's why you applied for the scholarship as well.
I agree. And
Yeah,
I think that somebody else wanted to add on that. Yes?
yeah. Just me. Just wanted to add that you would have like you have a pre-departure event, and then you will also have, let's say, like a returning scholars event. So basically, people can know if you're not back from your sharing experience. And then the other thing is, if you're working in the UK and you decide to stay in the UK because you found an opportunity there, in the UK, there is like the like single insurance number that you have, and that can help also the SDO track that you are working in the UK. So, as I say, you don't want to do that. Now, obviously, the 2 years kind of is enough to come back and give back to your country if you want to have an experience abroad. And then most Cheveners, after doing that and coming back to their countries, find opportunities either in Senegal, in the region, or in the world. And Chevening and the UK government will not like oppose.
Yeah. I think because also like I think that this person was more looking into like just having that in the essays. I think maybe even without like the way you write your career plan essay might hint to them what the plan is. Like if I said my career plan is, say, in after my Chevening scholarship, I want to go live in the States or like go and live in Dubai, whatsoever, they will know that, okay, so this one is not planning to come back to Senegal. So I think that career plan essay is a good opportunity to show them the picture of what your life after Chevening is going to look like professionally. And that way they know that, okay, you're planning on coming back into this country. And ultimately, it's just like also like an ethical issue of, okay, I said I'm going to do this, I will. But I know that the person asking were more concerned about if they have a way of putting that in their essays. So you can use the career plan essay to do that. Abdulaziz, this question is for you. They said, can a Senegalese nurse who has worked for 7 years in an international environment as a health coordinator apply for a master's in public health? That was very
Yeah.
specific.
Yeah, definitely. I would say yes, because like I told you, in my program, I had that lady from the Philippines. She was a communication specialist, but and health a communication and health promotion specialist with over like 10 years of experience in the WHO and also MSF. And she applied for the Chevening. She got the scholarship and she joined the program. So yeah, definitely you can apply for the scholarship as well.
Thank you. Jalor, maybe you're the right one for this question since it's touching on interview. It says, I would like to know if during the interview phase I need to speak English fluently.
Yes, of course you need to. If you're going to apply for Chevening, you have to make sure that you speak English. This is not necessarily like for the sake of speaking English, but you're going to do a master's in an English-speaking country in a like English-speaking university. If your English is not fluent, I'm sorry, this is not for you. You have to work on your English first, and I think we need to be really like honest about it. So some people will just see the opportunity and want to apply, and sometimes you're sitting at interview panels, and then someone comes in. You read their essays; they were amazing, and you ask them one question in English, they can answer. So for us, it's really disappointing. It's also a waste of like people time. So you have to be really honest when you're doing this application. If you don't speak English or like you're not confident, work on your English first, and there are ways to do that. So you could join like British Council courses or like have a hire personal coach, join like an English club. Then we can advise on how to do that. But that's the first step. You need to speak English first.
I agree. And I think even more than that, if even if you get it, and like even for those speaking English, you can still speak English and go in that country and struggle for the first months because of like the technicality of your program. Let alone now your English was not. I see Abdulaziz raising his hand. Maybe you
Yeah.
can speak more about that.
Yeah, I'm just
Even the
going to give an
accent.
example. Yeah, the accent is it can be like very hard to grasp because, for example, for me, like my first day attending a lecture, I left a lecture, I did not take notes because of the accent. I couldn't grasp the accent. So, and also like it's very fast paced because it's a 1 year program, very intense, and you will read a lot of papers because the way they are evaluating you is just like how can I say, like helping you to improve your critical thinking as well. So you need to read a lot of papers, and everything you say on your papers you need to back them up with articles. So you need to be like very fluent in English. You need to, I mean, even being very fluent in that is not enough because you will be in the same classroom as people coming from only English speaking countries who like learned like their whole life in English first, for example, and you are from a francophone country, maybe like it's going to be your very first time being taught in English entirely. That was my case, for example. That was my very first time being taught in English, and I really struggled because like in my classroom they were like people, we were like only two um, students coming from francophone countries, Guinea and Senegal, and that was really tough for us. So you, and like the thing is like if that happens to you, you will have to work like twice or even like more than that because you need to pick up the pace, and that's not easy. Trust me.
Yeah. So just wanted to add on that, Abdulaziz, that also the accent, because I was in the north of Scotland, so it's not just Scotland, but the north of Scotland, Aberdeen. So you go there, and even like buying at the grocery store is a challenge, because people will be like talking to you, and you'll be like, "What is this English?" I mean, I was taught in Senegal a different kind of English, and sometimes people hear like are used to the American accent. You go to the UK, trust me, the accents there are very different. Like even sometimes UK citizens struggle to understand the Scottish accent or the Welsh accent and etc. So you need to speak English, and you need also to make sure that when you like writing your essays and etc., you are thinking critically and you're writing critically, because that's very important. Knowing like how to speak English is not enough, as Abdulaziz said. You have to like display critical thinking, and I think that's a difference between the UK universities and francophone universities in general.
I agree. Yeah, I think the next question is also for Abdulaziz. It sounds like we have a lot of medical doctors in this panel today. So somebody said, "Hi Abdulaziz, I'm a final year medical student and would like to apply for a master's in public health. Like for somebody like me, oh, actually, no, I'm reading the wrong one. Apologies. So, no, it says, so my question is for Dr. Abdulaziz, and it said, for someone who has recently graduated, what type of work experience should we try to get in order to maximize our chances of being selected?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, in medicine, you combine like theoretical courses and also the training courses as well, because you start that from your second year of medical studies as well, and it's part of the program. So you can use that, and also you graduate like when you are in your sixth year of medical studies, and then after you have like 2 years of internship. It's just like 16 months, but we know each other. We don't do like 16 months. We do it in 2 years. So that those 2 years of internship, you can also use that. But my experience was like quite different because, like I said a while ago, I happen to know like the Chevening programs through Dr. Margaret Nyaw, who introduced me to the program, and that was in 2018. So ever since then, I started making plans. So I had to pause my medical studies and go and get myself into some other projects just to diversify my background, and also aim to have an outstanding, a strong profile as well. So I did a lot of online certifications, joined like Pasteur Institute of Dakar, and worked with NGOs as well, African Population and Health Research Center, Merchyships, and all of those NGOs to help me make my application stand out. But in your case, I think if you use those 2 years of internship, it will be enough for you. The thing is like you just have to fulfill that requirement of having, I think, Mom, is 1,800 hours, right?
I have to check, but it's
Yeah,
definitely 1,000 something.
yeah, it's just 1,000 something.
I
So as
think
long as
it's
you can fulfill it,
equivalent. I think it's
yeah,
equivalent to 2 years full-time
yeah,
experience. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's just like that, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And I think it's applied to everyone, not just medical student. If you're in this conversation today and you do not qualify because you don't have the 2 year work experience, I say consider yourself lucky that you know about the program early on so that you can have plan, walk around, getting ready. Say if you English is not that fluent, if you don't have the work experience, you know that, okay, this is the number of time, years, whatever that I need to get ready so that when I am ready, then I now go ahead and do the application. And yeah, so that's about it. I'm gonna now move to Abdourahmane for this next question. And it says, I already have my bachelor and master's degree, but I want to learn a new subject that would give a new turn to my career. Can I still then apply because they already have a master's? but they want to do another master's in a different field?
Yes, of course. You can apply, but just you need to make sure that you have enough background to explain maybe why you want to change your career. So you really need to mention that in your essays, like on maybe the university choice, but also on the career plan essay. You need to mention why you're changing, why it's important for you to change your career plan, and also why are you choosing maybe the specific university. So I've seen many people coming from a different background. For example, I had one classmate. She was doing like something related to corruption, but she studied in our university something related to food marketing. But because she was working for the Ministry of Agriculture in her country, so that's why she like changed his career plan from corruption things to the food marketing things. But because the organization she was working in was like something related to agriculture and marketing, so that's why she like wanted to change a career plan. So just make sure that it's coherent with your career plan, and also make sure that you explain it very well, why you are changing your career plan. Maybe you want to go in a different field. Maybe you want also to go to an international organizations like a UN organization, for example. So yeah, definitely just need to make sure that it's coherent with what you want to achieve in your career plan, and why you are changing also your career plan.
Agree. I'm gonna stay with you, Abdourahmane. But before that, I'm just gonna say I myself was an example because I already had my master's, but it was in English literature and civilization. But then I went to do a master's in international education and development. So I've been able to prove that because I've been working in the development sector. Now I knew what I wanted to do more of in the future and how the masters were gonna help me now go deep into the development world. So yeah. This next question I'm gonna also ask it to you. It says, will we be required to keep working in order to support ourselves if we are in a more expensive city? Or can the stipend cover all expenses, even in cities like London?
Actually, that's a good question. I think Dialor mentioned it, that you need a very good financial education. Again, I'm not a good example of that, of financial education. I think even in the departure event, I think we get a lot of advice from the alumni, that you need to have a very good financial education and to have a budget. So you have an amount of stipend, and you have like different expenses. You have to cover your groceries, you have to cover your accommodation, which can take a big part of your stipend. So you really need to make sure that you have a very clear budget, but also you plan your finance. Like, don't overspend on some specific stuff. And also maybe you have to limit also sometimes your needs. So it's really important for that. You can get the chance to still continue working. It was my case. I was still working even during the Chevening program. Not maybe on a fully time basis, but I had to participate to some, let's say, some meetings online to still keep my work. Like I'm still with this work. It's my current work. But yeah, you can get the chance to maybe negotiate with your supervisors that you can keep your work, still keep your salaries also as well, and then coming back. And you need also to demonstrate maybe how the program will benefit from the organization you're working with, so that they can maybe, if you get the chance, still keep your work. But yeah, definitely you can have the chance to keep your work while also studying in the UK, even with the entrance program, as is mentioned. But yeah, definitely. But having a good financial education will be something that is very helpful, like having the budget, using some tools also to make your budget like be very specific on everything that you're going to spend or on your stipend. Yeah, so that's what I wanted maybe to provide on that specific question. Maybe the others have all the skills, because I'm not the good example in terms of financial education.
I'll just add that you're not gonna be there broke, or you're not gonna be there and you're hungry, because the stipend is enough for you as an individual to survive if you know how to use money. Like, I am a poor financially literate person, like in terms of how I use my money, but I never struggled financially, honestly. Is it because I didn't not have a family to cater for? But I was still sending a few pounds here and there to my siblings. So it means that what I was being given was enough. And also, I did not have, like, I did not keep my work. I went there as a student. So when Abdourahmane says you can still keep your work, I just want people to also see it as the exception, not the rule. Like, not many people get to do that. Maybe some do. But even if you don't, in the UK, you're allowed as a student to work 20 hours per week, but you do. If you are working beyond that, you're gonna get in trouble. So my advice, I don't know if any of you worked while they were there. For me, I started working part-time during my second term, not the first term, but during the second term, I did get some student jobs, and I worked 20 hours a week. And it was not like, it didn't prevent me from doing my studies whatsoever, but I prefer to wait until the second term so that I get used to the system. I know now my way, how to navigate my programs, the agenda, whatsoever. Some people do start during the first term. Everybody maybe know what works for them, but for me, I had to wait until the second term just so I was more used to the country, to the system. And yeah, so for those, I think Dialor did mention this, for those living in London, your stipend is different from some of us who studied in other places outside of London, because they know London is expensive. Even though some of us in Brighton were complaining a lot because Brighton is expensive. So we never understood why we did not get some extra pounds. When you go visit other places and you see like the amount of rent they're paying, like someone was paying, I don't remember where, as small as like 300 or 400 pounds, and I was in Brighton, and my colleagues, we were paying like around 600, 7, like 550, and we were like, how come? So it really depends on where you're living. Some places are definitely cheaper than others. Brighton is one of the expensive places. Obviously London is more expensive than Brighton, but yeah, so just don't panic about that, and you can still get some work and do have a few cash if necessary. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just maybe wanted to add something on like budgeting and making sure that you survive with your stipend. As everyone said here, it's really important to make the right choices. Basically, don't go grocery shopping everywhere. Make sure that you choose the right ones. Like Lidl for me was the best. Go to Lidl if you have the opportunity, or like something similar to that. Don't think that because you get like the initial stipend, like the 2 month allowance, that you're super rich. You're not. You have to make sure that you use that wisely. The other thing is everything that is like transportation and etc. Make the right choices. Like taxis, Ubers, and etc. are very expensive. Use public transportation. Don't use those if you are a student and you're living only on your stipend. Now you'll see people coming from other places, like come from uh, maybe different backgrounds, or they've accumulated wealth and are totally different from scholars, living a lifestyle that you will want to live. Don't fall into that trap. Stick to your plans and your budget to make sure that now for people living in London, I think the challenge is accommodation. accommodation in London is quite expensive. You would probably have to share your flat, and sometimes you would only afford a room. So make sure that you can actually make the right choice and start like searching early for an accommodation, because you might go there without an accommodation and struggle getting one. Now the last thing I wanted to mention is if you are going to work in the UK, um, you can work part time, as Mom mentioned, but when you finish your program, you can actually stay 3 months in the UK because you have like a year visa, but you won't get a stipend. So if you choose to stay, best is to work then full time, because after your program you can work full time. That's possible. But if you can avoid working during your program, for me that's the best. Because when you start working, you would like it will be challenging for you to travel, for example. And one of the best part of Chevening is traveling and then like enjoying your time there. But if you have to work, that's fine. Then you can do it, but that's not the best.
Yes, I agree. I like that we are now in the part of the session where they have already been selected and we are in the UK. So is accommodation part of the stipend? And somebody's also saying that they that they feel it's just like sharing accommodation. Anybody want to take this? Because I jump in here. I'll throw it to you.
Sorry, I lost you at some point. Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, same. I lost you.
Okay, then it was my bad then. So somebody asked if the accommodation was part of the stipend or it is seen as personal expenses. And added to that, there was another question of somebody saying, like having to live and share a bathroom with other people really worries me a lot. So how did you manage it, especially for London chiefness? Like, was it very expensive? Is it possible to have your own space? Yeah.
Maybe I can take that one. So on living like you're living in Senegal, I think when you become a student, you have to be resilient, and also it's part of the learning process to be able actually to live with others and share like your cultural differences. So for me, I didn't regret actually living with other students and sharing a flat, and we were all males and sharing the bathroom and etc. I think you just need to set the rules. You share also like the kitchen area, so people need to be clean, and I think that will just teach you a lot of things, that people are different. You have to be tolerant. You have to also communicate effectively if you want to do that. But if you know that you can't, best is to rent your own space. But now that will come with extra costs if you're going to do that. So you need to reflect on what you want to do, what you can afford as well, because sometimes there won't be another option. Actually, you will have to share your flat because it's less expensive. The other thing is also because you are in a country that you're not familiar with, living with other students can really help you not to be like isolated from everyone else. And sometimes that is support, like moral support that you would need. The shared time in your flat, like the games you would be doing, the plans you would be having together, all those are really important, because it's not sure that at uni you would make friends. So if you can do that, do it. Now on the first question about the accommodation, so your stipends should cover like all your expenses there. So your food, accommodation, transportation, etc., everything. So you have to make it work. If you have savings, then you can use them as well in the UK
to live there. But people that don't have choice will live with the expense, with the stipend.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay with you for the next question because I think you can answer it. But before I shoot it over to you, I just say I don't think there's a one way of living. Though what Jaro just said is like the generally what we see and what would be recommended, and you have the means. I have seen somebody, and I think that was like very exceptional, who had a studio by himself because he said there's no way he can walk, like there's no way he can live with other people. So I guess maybe he was rich or had some extra income, but he had a studio. But I don't know this person personally. So this was somebody before I went. So I used to watch his YouTube videos. And the interesting part about that was that in his very last YouTube video about Chevening, he said he regretted the choice. Why? He said while it was comfortable and nice, he felt like he didn't get the full Chevening experience because like Chevening experience about community, having to be with the Chevening community, and because he was living alone, there was always this: you go to uni or an event, and if it's done, you go back to your apartment. While for the others, because they were living in some small communities, they could like spend more time together. So I think ultimately, I think people are different. What we all can support is different. But if you can live in community, and speaking also from a COVID cohort experience, because we were the COVID people, I think having the Chevening community literally saved our life, in the sense that in the second term we were in lockdown, but because I lived, well, I did not live on campus. I live outside of campus, but in a university-owned building. It meant even we were four in our apartment, but the three of us were Chevening scholars. And in the entire building, we also had Chevening scholars, so we could still get together. Because if you're a Chevening community, there's this automatic connection, like, hi, oh my gosh, you're a Chevener too. And like, he immediately, become a community. So I think one thing that is nice about the UK is they give you options. So let's say, at least from my university, in the university accommodation, you have things like some rooms that have their own like ensuite rooms, like some room has their own bathroom. What does that mean? It means that that room is more expensive now. There are other rooms where you need to, like, there's an apartment of 6 people and then you have 3 bathroom. At least 2 people would be sharing one bathroom. There's another place where, I don't know, like, the thing is there are so many options in the university for accommodation. So you get, when you're in that stage, you get to decide among all this diversity of options, looking at me as a person, what is the one that suits me the most? Do I want to spend more pounds and have my own bathroom? Do I want to save that money and go share my apartment? Do I actually want to go live outside of the campus? Because still, surprisingly for me, in at least in Brighton, the accommodation outside of campus was still cheaper than the one on campus. Do you want to, like, I think when you get there, you get to reflect on all those questions and see what works for you. But really don't miss on the experience. Like, find your community, because that makes Chevening like unique. That makes it that even now, I'm sure Dialor, Abdou, Aziz, Abdourahmane, they can all, tell you about the achievements that they're still in touch with, like that community they still have. If they were living on their own, like, oh, I'm a professional, I need to live by myself, then they come back alone, so they miss the networking part of the experience. And I don't think you want to do that. So, yeah.
Uh, just saying that mental health, mental well-being is very important. So if you isolate yourself from the whole, I mean, from your cohort or like the other student, your mental health can take a hit, like especially during winter where you have like long nights and where like the weather is always gray and so depressive, right? So you need to get in touch with people just to interact with them. You are there to enjoy your time. You're not there to suffer or like to be on your own all the time. You have to network with people. So, and the best way to network is to just mingle with people, interact with them, go out with them, travel with them as well. And yeah, have activities together. So do not stay on your own, because it will be like a country maybe you are new to, you've never been to. and you can face a lot of challenges. And if you isolate yourself, you will just face those challenges alone, which is not the best way to deal with those problems sometimes. That's the reason why you really need to mingle with people again.
Yeah, just don't make the mistake of living with undergrads when you're a master's student. That's the
Oh,
that's the
yes,
worst.
Absolutely, yeah, good
definitely.
point.
Oh, I like the way everybody was like, oh, yes. Give some background for the people. I'm sure they're confused now.
Yeah, just to give you some background, so undergrad students will be partying a lot, mostly immature. They will be in their early 20s, sometimes not even 20. So their motto will be like party, party, party. So you want like that environment if you are in your 30s. You would want like the more mature environment, less noise. And that is what maybe like an accommodation for masters. That's why the uni even would like differentiate from the master students and the undergrad students, and you'd have accommodations that are totally different in different locations.
I agree.
I can relate on that part, I think. Because yeah, I think as Jalal mentioned, you have many options. So you can also try to avoid like buildings that you where you have many undergraduates. For our case, I was in a university campus, but I know the building where there are many undergrad. You have always the alarm ringing on the middle of the night. So yeah, be ready if you are in a building where there are many undergraduates. Be ready for the alarm ringing on the middle of the night and disturbing your your sleeping and everything. Yeah.
I agree. Um, Great. Well, conscious of everyone time, and I'm saying that after 2 hours and a half, even though I considered this was gonna run for an hour and a half, but I'm very much sure that our participants are enjoying this conversation. But maybe unless there are like some last question that we have not really covered, maybe I'll just ask you guys this last question. Like, if you had for everyone, let me check my question. So if you had, let's say, this one golden piece of advice for this year applicants, what would it be? Abdourahmane, let us start with you.
Just start your application maybe. So yeah, be sure that you apply on time. So don't wait for the last minute, because on the day of the application, you might like the application website might have some trouble. So imagine spending like so much time writing your essays and crafting your application without having the chance to submit it. It will be very like very sad not to submit your application with all the time you have spent on. Also be very authentic about your application. You can still, yeah, use maybe the AI, but don't rely 100% on it. Yeah, so yeah, I think we shared some more details, and will be available also maybe on LinkedIn if someone maybe need some specific advice on something. Yeah. And good luck to everyone applying this year.
I like that. Maybe you guys can also like drop your LinkedIn or where they can join, where they can connect with you if you would like to, obviously, or like any platform you are able to connect there. As I like the use AI, but wisely. I think in the UK is when I knew that there was something called self plagiarism. Like I know about plagiarism if you were in academia, but self plagiarism, I was like, but it is my work. They're like, still, let's say, when we were doing our essays, our exams or then essays, they said, say you write a paper and you're using the same paragraph word by word of that paper in that other paper without citing it is called self-plagiarism. And I was like, oh my gosh. That does not apply here, but I think I was just saying that to highlight the point in which you need to definitely avoid plagiarism. Because imagine if you're being punished for using your own work, let alone now using somebody else's work. So yeah, let's me pass it over to Dialor for also like the same question.
Yeah, thanks very much. So for me, I will maybe start where Abdourahmane finished. It's like be authentic. When you are doing your training essays and applying, you're telling a story, and you want to convince people that you are amongst the best and the leaders that deserve the scholarship. So be authentic, reflect on what you're going to write, make sure that you believe in it. It's your story that you're telling. Now, the other thing is be well prepared. Don't just think that spending a couple of minutes on your essays will make it and that you will make the cut like that. Some people might be lucky and like make it, but if you really want your essays to be good and to stand out, you have to spend time on them. The other thing is make sure that your English is good enough and be honest with yourself, because if your English is not good enough, you're not going like to get the scholarship, or if you get it because you were lucky, your time in the UK would be really, really tough. So be authentic, be well prepared, and be honest with yourself. Thanks.
I like that. Thank you. Well, last but certainly not least, Aziz.
I will just echo on what Abdourahmane and Jalor said. Be authentic, be you. Just start your application as soon as possible, as early as possible, and also prepare, because it will never be enough. Also, find people to prove your essays as well, and the opportunity is there for you to shine, guys. Just spread your wings and fly.
Spread your wings and fly. What a great way to put that. So yeah, I think for me, I would just say yes. If you know that you qualify, just give it a shot and stop. Like some people self-sabotage, like they will disqualify themselves, saying, "Oh, like after hearing this is very inspiring, but it doesn't sound like I can do that." Trust me, none of us knew they could until they did. And that is just how life works. I think you if you know you have what it takes to give it your all, then give it your all. But also if you're doing it, I think it's quite important for you to you like there's this thing of knowing that I have done my best when I applied. Now the result is something that you cannot control. Maybe this year is going to be your year, and I really hope it will be, and we get to all celebrate. And if it's not, some people have applied more than once, twice, three times. There are stories out there. So I think I would say give it your all, start early, and yeah, ask people who know you to read your essays, to read your career plan. Maybe you have done amazing thing, but you're being too humble. They can remind you of all that great work. If you have alumni who could check it, uh, also do if they cannot, because I also know my friends here are extremely busy, so sometimes they really want to help, but maybe all they can do is like give you these 2 hours and a half, like while they've done this, they have had to sacrifice their Sunday afternoon, but I know they're doing it because they are very happy to give back. And you could sense the passion from the way they have been having the conversation, and how, I don't know about you, but I didn't even feel the 2 hours and a half passing. I had to check and be like, oh my gosh, we've been talking this long. And that is the beauty of being part of the Chevening community. The moment, you become an alum, there's just this like, I don't know, this will to give back. I was like, I've been able to, gain this, like be part of this amazing program. So if I can spread the word out there, let another person know, who knows, maybe, in June, we're all like the happiness myself, Jalor, Abdourahmane is going to get from this is seeing you guys' his messages saying, oh my gosh, I have been chosen for Chevening. That is the pleasure we are looking for. And I'm sure we will have that. So thank you very much. Somebody is asking if there's going to be another webinar. Let us put a question mark on that. Maybe, and if we do, I'm not sure it's going to be with the same alumni here. So maybe we can get other alumni to speak, maybe on different things, or maybe when we get to the interview phase, we might be able to organize another one dedicated to interview. We'll see. I'm not promising anything, but one thing for sure is that we're here and we're happy to help. For those of you who want to see content around this, I have like this platform on TikTok and on Instagram. It's called Ask-Maam, and I share videos there about Chevening and other, let's say, international development opportunities or just tips that are based on my own experience. So if that is something you're interested in checking out, I'll say have a look on those page or connect with me on on LinkedIn as well. So yeah, thank you guys very, 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 very much. I truly appreciate the time that you took to speak with us. And yes, Dialor Abdourahmane, Abdou, Aziz, do you guys want to say bye or your parting words? Like, thank you guys so much. I appreciate the 2.5 hours you spent with us.
Yeah, just goodbye and good luck to everyone that's going to apply this year. I'm available on LinkedIn if you want to connect. My LinkedIn is really easy to access. It's Dialor Thiam, so you can find me easily on LinkedIn. Have a good rest of your day, everyone.
Yes. Abdul Aziz, do you want to say bye?
Yeah, bye and good luck with the application, guys.
Abdurrahman, do you want to say bye?
Yeah, goodbye. And yeah, good luck to everyone applying for the Chevening.
Best of luck, guys. We
Mm.
can't wait to celebrate with you and to say I can't keep calm because I have been chosen for Chevening. So, with that being said, if there's another webinar happening, I'll make sure I'll communicate that on my social. But until then, you take care and bye.